You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Coming in at 195 pounds from Studio A, he is the reigning, defending, undisputed host of the Ring of Thunder, Sexy Thor!
Well, Thunderverse, as we're on the road to WrestleMania Backlash, a lot of stuff can happen and slip through the cracks, I guess, because, you know, it's just an exciting time being on the road to WrestleMania Backlash. So, already previously announced in one of the previous weeks is that Bianca Belair will be defending her Smackdown Women's Championship against Bayley at WrestleMania Backlash. And so far, that and the whole Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship are so far the only ones announced. But some stuff this week has kind of shown us that there might be some more. Well, I mean, of course there's going to be more. You're not going to have a fucking 2-match pay-per-view. I mean, it'll be pretty epic, though. I mean, as long as the two matches are epic. Not that it would be epic to have just 2 matches on a card. Moving on. And also, Kushida won the NXT Cruiserweight Championship just a week after Santos Escobar won it, or unified both Cruiserweight Championships at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. So that was a very interesting move. I mean, Kushida's definitely deserved it for a long time, but it's just interesting to see that title change take place a week after it was unified. But hey, go for it. And also, pretty much the only big surprise return on the Raw after Mania was the return of the Viking Raiders. I figured something had to be up when I saw Ivar like all dressed and standing there with everybody doing the national anthem. Or no, not the national anthem, America the Beautiful, before WrestleMania. And turns out I was right. They were all clear to go. They returned at Raw after Mania. They pretty much killed Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. And then they returned to the Raw next week, or the following week, and killed them again. And speaking of Cedric and Shelton just sliding down the card, since Riddle beat Randy Orton last week, Randy actually decided to go ahead and give RK Bro, the tag team idea Riddle had for him and Randy, a try. And yeah, they also killed Cedric and Shelton. But yeah, this is like, wow. We are now living in a world where Riddle and Randy Orton are a tag team. Who'd have thunk it? Not me. But speaking of the tag team titles, we also haven't seen AJ Styles and Omos since they literally won the Raw Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania. But they will be returning this Monday, tonight on release day, to defend their Raw Tag Team Championship in a WrestleMania rematch against the New Day. So, it'd be very cool. This will actually be, if you can believe it, Omos's debut match on Raw, because his overall debut match in WWE was at WrestleMania, but now this is his Raw debut. And, of course, last week we told you Charlotte got fined $100,000 kayfabe dollars, and she was indefinitely suspended. Well, suspension's over. Sonya Deville brought him in from the back. She, quote-unquote, apologized to the referee, Eddie Orengo, for beating him mercilessly the previous week. He accepted the apology, and he was reinstated by Sonya Deville, who is a WWE official. However, when they got back through the curtain back to Gorilla, Adam Pearce was right there, and he was just like, what the fuck, Sonya? You just went over my head. And she's like, no. You were busy, so I just had to make an executive decision. Yeah. So, lot of shadiness and shenanigans going on. But we're keeping our eyes open. As also a fellow Adam, I've felt very much for him about just getting things done behind your back and going over you. I was about to say over your head, but that doesn't sound correct at all. And let me see, Mason T-Bar, who now have gotten rid of their mask for good and have some sort of war paint on. They're still undefeated against Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman, and they'll let you know about it on Twitter. But it's alright, because their Twitter is just fucking hilarious. And then new Alexis Playground, still in the Firefly Funhouse, still at Alexis Playground with her and Lily. And this time it was like a calming meditation sort of video, and then Lily jumped out like a jump scare video. I mean, you know the old ones back in, I want to say mid to late 2000s. Those jump scare videos where you just watch it and then it goes like, ah! Yeah, something like that. Was that ever a thing in the 2010s? I have no idea. And it's probably best that I don't either. And then Sheamus put out an open challenge just to fight him, not for the United States Championship. And Humberto Carrillo came back and gave a lot more of an ass whooping this time. So you get back up there, Humberto. You get back up there. And also Ricochet is apparently doing sick-ass promos by Sweet Cars for main event. And it's just like, I really think we can unscript Ricochet, and he can definitely hold his own on the promo department. I think we've proved this. And of course, his in-ring ability is always on point. So let's do Ricochet some more. But yeah, and Ricochet was taking on Mustafa Ali yet again. So round and round this feud goes, even post-Retribution. Like, Retribution breaking up should have just proved Ricochet's point, like, the whole time. And over on NXT, Adam Cole returned for the first time in Stand and Deliver and had an interview where he was very, very short with the interviewer. Like, he was just full-on dickhead and just promised that the best Adam Cole is yet to come. So definitely looking forward to that. And also, it's announced that Finn Balor will be returning this week after being on vacation in Mexico after he lost the NXT Championship at Stand and Deliver. And then some weird twists and turns with the whole Indy Hartwell, Dexter Lumis love thing, because Shotzi and Ember were apparently receiving flowers and stuff from Dexter. I don't even know if it's really Dexter. I think, now that I'm thinking about it, sounds like a ploy from Candace and Johnny. And then Dexter showed up when Indy was in the ring, and she was just like, no, get away from me. I can't deal with this. You talk too much. Because, of course, Dexter doesn't talk at all. And then, yeah. But what's curious to me is she was back with the Way the week after he just, like, picked her up when she pretended to faint and carried her off. So I wonder, like, how did they get her back? Or if Dexter just, like, dropped her back with them. I don't know. But it's still somehow very fascinating and very hilarious to just continue to find this out. And Bronson Reed defeated Austin Theory, so he gets another shot at Johnny Gargano's North American title. And Mercedes Martinez will be facing Raquel Gonzalez in a couple weeks' time for the NXT Women's Championship after Raquel attacked Mercedes in her match with Dakota Kai. And also, if you have Peacock, you should definitely watch the WWE Untold of Two Dudes with Attitudes, which told the whole story of Shawn Michaels and Diesel's partnership in the early 90s. It is definitely a very entertaining watch, so watch it. Over on Dynamite, QT Marshall is being a massive dick, and then his factory guys were also being massive dicks. Like Anthony Ogogo was fucking sneaking in his little boxing man fist right in the midsection. We're definitely selling that as one of the most devastating signature moves in pro wrestling today, so it's pretty awesome to see. But yeah, QT was going back to his bus all satisfied after the match. And then he opened the door to his new bus. And then newly healthy Cody Rhodes came out and walloped the ever-loving shit out of him. And just really made me want to get his little, I guess, would you call it a bomber jacket? I don't know. An American Nightmare bomber jacket. I mean, I think it's like $150 or some shit, but it sounds looks incredible. And also some news, ? That apparently AEW is reportedly close to signing Tessa Blanchard and her husband Daga. So maybe the heat that was on Tessa last year for the reports of her bullying and maybe saying some not so nice things is like sort of cooled off now. I don't know. It's definitely something they'll be needing to address, so we don't see her and it's just like cringe. We can see, like, you know, she was the fucking Impact World Champion. She wasn't the Knockouts Champion of the women division. Like, she beat the women and the men, and rightfully so, because she is a beast. And then there was a parlay with the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle to determine who goes first in Blood and Guts next week. And it was, or they were going to like flip a coin or something, but Sammy Guevara was just like, no, you can go first and I'll be the first guy from the Inner Circle in the cage and I'll fight all y'all. But it was still a wonderful exchanging of promos between the two factions. And then pivoting a little bit to what Andrade is doing lately, some big news. He is part of the Federación Wrestling pay-per-view next month, reuniting with Rush because they were in La Facción Ingobernables together. And then Dragon Lee will be teaming with Bandito, which is very interesting because Bandito is part of Mexa Squad and Dragon Lee part of La Facción Ingobernables, and at least on Ring of Honor television, I don't think the two factions have really gotten along real well, so it's interesting to see how this team up is going to work. And Dragon Lee and Bandito will be taking on the Lucha Bros. So, of course, unfortunately, I think the whole Penta Says thing is probably just going to be confined to AEW, but still, Alex Abrahantes is definitely a jewel. And over on Impact, Taylor Wilde returned to Impact in a victory over Kimberly in her first match in 10 years and will face Susan. And this is the first time I've seen Taylor Wilde in action because, of course, I didn't watch Impact 10 years ago or any wrestling, but to me, she sort of like makes me think of a punk rock Lacey Evans that you can really get behind. Yeah, I mean, that's all I gotta say. She just seems really cool. And, of course, she's on her way to eventually taking on Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts Championship. And so far for Under Siege on June 15th, there's Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Eddie Edwards and Finjuice. A rematch from Rebellion as Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering now defend their Knockouts tag team titles against Fire and Flava. And so far, Chris Bay, Sami Callihan, and Matt Cardona have qualified for a six-way to determine who will face Kenny Omega for the Impact Tournament/TNA World Championships.
I'm Drew Leiter.
And I'm Cletus Jacobs.
Join us this winter as we watch changes in the DC Universe unfold. We'll keep you informed on DC News, we'll review the future state event, and of course, we'll be talking the Arrowverse shows when they return this January.
Thanks for letting us be a part of your DC Comics journey, and thanks for listening to the Earth Station DCU podcast.
Part of the ESO Network.
My name is Mark McCray, and I'm the author of The Best Saturdays of Our Lives.
I'm Dan Klink, co-host of the Best Saturdays of Our Lives podcast.
The Best Saturdays of Our Lives features programming trends from the 1966 television season all the way through the last hurrah of the early digital age of the 1990s.
On the show, if it's animated, we talk about it.
Order your signed copy today at tbsool.com.
And listen to the podcast at esonetwork.com and all podcast platforms.
Hello. Have you ever wondered how much Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster sold Superman's rights to DC for? Or which popular football star was the Sam Wilson the Falcons' physical appearance based on? You can find all that and more at the History of Comic Books podcast, a podcast dedicated to the creators, events, history, and the companies that made the great comic book medium. Hosted and created by your friendly neighborhood JT Wheatley. Please give it a listen at iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, and all our podcasting platforms. Thank you, and go ahead and enjoy yourself a good comic book.
Hey guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
It's Amanda Bones.
And I'm Ashley.
Of How to Talk to Your Friend About Wrestling, the podcast on the Count Out Wrestling Podcast Network, a weekly show where we talk about all of our favorite things, babes, blood, and brutality.
We also talk about other fun things, like is Kenny Omega finally too tan? And how much blood is too much blood? Because that looks like way too much blood.
So join us on the adventure of teaching me, Amanda Bones, about wrestling.
Look, we gotta talk.
Yeah, Thunder Talk.
We're going all kinds of sideways with that sweet nerd junk.
Woke nerd junk.
It's topical.
Political.
Dare I say radical.
We've got all your latest news and reviews.
Hot music.
And a whole lot of comedy.
But it ain't for kids.
Definitely mature content.
So let's talk.
Let's talk Thunder Talk.
Thunder Talk is a proud member of the ESO Network.
So far, some major points on SmackDown aside from the Street Profits and the Dirty Dogs, of course, going round and round and round again. And of course, still teasing us with the whole, hey, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio could be the first father-son tag team champions in WWE. Aside from that, Commander Aziz caused a disqualification to the WrestleMania rematch for the Intercontinental Championship between Apollo Crews and Big E, and there were further shenanigans with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, so I have a feeling it's about to be a four-way at Backlash. And finally, the one we've all been waiting for, and really not a whole lot happened this episode, honestly. But, I mean, this main event was like, from, I think it started around 9:20, so there was a good 40 minutes from entrance to end of the whole thing. And oh my god, how did I almost forget that Roman Reigns finally has new entrance music. R.I.P. Shield theme, 2012 to 2021. Pour one out for the dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. Yeah, now it's like some sort of, it sounds like a choir or a chorus, and then it's just like some mid-tempo rock riff along with a little piano melody that goes a little faster. And, yeah, it's something to grow on. But it's just like, oh my god, so Alexa's running off a new theme. Seth is running off a new theme. Roman now has a new theme. If Becky Lynch comes back with a new theme, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, oh my goodness. I would predict that would, like, eventually go down in the history books as one of the most iconic themes in WWE, but even then, I mean, the Shield theme is still the Shield theme. I mean, again, most dominant faction. I think we still call the Shield a faction. I don't know. But yeah, can't believe it. Shield theme is gone. But yeah, so Roman Reigns actually beat Daniel Bryan clean in the middle of the ring, undisputed, uncontroverted. And now Daniel Bryan is banished from SmackDown forever. And he was about to concerto Bryan when Cesaro ran in and uppercut Roman, but then Jey Uso superkicked Cesaro and tied him up. Remember, Jey Uso was nowhere to be seen this entire match. Roman won clean, so that's that. That's your tribal chief. And Jey Uso had tied up Cesaro and made him watch as Roman concertoed Daniel Bryan and ended that man's whole career, at least on SmackDown. But yeah, so pretty much not a whole lot going on, but within... Oh, and did I say Under Siege was June 15th? I meant May 15th. Also, it's kind of hard to believe we're in May right now, but you know, there you go. So yeah, we're a couple weeks from Backlash. This Wednesday is Blood and Guts. I promise there should probably be more interesting things to talk about in the weeks coming up. But until then, that's the 1, 2, 3. Thanks for locking up with me in the Ring of Thunder. Smash 'em, stack 'em, pin 'em, and kick butts, not nuts.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.